Another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Janice, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the July 2nd issue of the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Village looks to improve walkability, bikeability with July study. A new on-site workshop and study to determine ways to improve the walkability and bikeability of the village of East Aurora will take place this coming July. It will feature community engagement and existing conditions review, walking audits, a community workshop, and a final presentation of findings and opportunities. The village board voted unanimously on June 15th to approve the study performed by Blue Zones, which will cost a total of $27,693. The money will come from the village's fund balance. Mayor Luke Wolchensky said of the project that he believes it is an opportunity to bring in an organization with nationally recognized expertise to help engage residents to gather information that will help guide future decisions. This is not a commitment to any future construction project. It is not a commitment to install bike lanes, traffic calming devices, stop signs, sidewalks, or any other specific improvement, Wolchensky said. The study will take place from Tuesday, July 7th to Thursday, July 9th. Blue Zones will already be in the area to help with the study in the city of Buffalo, allowing the village to save money on additional travel expenses. Wolchensky said a similar community looking to do a standalone study was estimated to spend $50,000. Every issue that comes up, a lot of it is, in my mind, is coming back to connectivity, walkability, Deputy Mayor Chelsea Root said. Root, along with several Town of Aurora and village representatives, attended a workshop provided by Erie County on walkability, led by Dan Burden, who is a member of the Blue Zones team. Burden is an internationally recognized walkability and active transport expert and has worked in more than 3,800 communities across all 50 states, as well as internationally on a variety of issues. Burden had previously been to the village in 2002 to perform a study that eventually led to the creation of bump outs and curb cuts that can be found along Main Street today. Wolchensky said that this study is taking place at an important time, as the village is currently in discussions to revamp their over 20-year-old comprehensive plan. Wolchensky also said this study could help better position the village in their hunt for a downtown revitalization initiative, or DRI, grant, or a New York Forward grant, like the one that was received by Westfalls in 2024. This project is best if we have robust community input, Wolchensky said. Wolchensky said the goals of the project would be to pinpoint specific projects that aid in walkability and bikeability in the village, which would then be able to be funded through initiatives like DRI. Ideas for projects and areas of interest for pedestrians and cyclists are welcomed by Wolchensky and the village board. They can be shared via email at mayor@eaurora mayor at eastaurora.gov. The village board will meet at 7 p.m. Monday, July 6th, at the Aurora Municipal Center on Oakwood Avenue. Grand stories behind the grand marshals of this year's parade. Bringing in this year's 250th celebration, the East Aurora Recreation Department sponsors all of the festivities East Aurora residents have come to know and love. Starting at 6:30 on the intersections of Riley and Main Street, the parade carved its way through the village of East Aurora. The parade featured its typical staples, with sports teams, floats, businesses, and more all being present. Helping to lead up the parade, however, was this year's two grand marshals. Every year, the American Legion selects two East Aurora citizens to lead the parade, choosing one veteran and one outstanding community member. This has been a tradition since 2000, making this year the 26th time. In the last few years, the Legion upped the number of marshals to two, just in case of an emergency where one cannot attend the parade. This year, it was Larry Galuski Sr. and Dave Thomason. They were chosen to be the marshals. Galuski represented this year's veteran pick, being a veteran of the Vietnam War. Galuski has been a resident of East Aurora for 8 years now and was born and raised in Lancaster. Aside from his military service, Galuski is a retired barber and an active member of the VFW post of East Aurora. He is also the grandfather of 6 children, 4 of whom have graduated from the East Aurora Union Free School District. Larry Galuski Jr., who provided information on his father, shared the story of his father's accident years ago, which left him partially paralyzed. Galuski Jr. commented that his father's recovery since the accident has been strong. Dave Thomason represents the community member picked from the Legion and was chosen for his lifelong service to the East Aurora community. Thompson is a lifelong resident of East Aurora and is part of the reason the community has a fireworks show each Independence Day. Thomason has helped to raise money for the fireworks, ensuring there's enough money every year to fund the celebration. Now retired, Thomason used to serve in the East Aurora Fire Department and even became the training director in the county's Emergency Services Department. Thomason has worn many other hats in his community as well, including snow plowing for the village and maintenance work on the Roycroft campus. Thomason has worked to benefit this community so much that he even had his own spotlight article right here in the Advertiser 15 years ago. Both gentlemen will lead the charge of this year's parade, which took place on July 3rd as East Aurora celebrated America's 250th anniversary. Roycroft Inn under contract. The historic Roycroft Inn in East Aurora is under contract to change hands for the second time in less than 5 years. The inn is under contract to be sold to Visions Hotels, which is based in Rochester, New York. Visions Hotels Chief Financial Officer Manesh Patel confirmed in an email that the company is under contract to purchase the inn. He declined to provide additional comment on the transaction until it is complete. I can't comment on the deal until we actually close, hopefully next week, he said in a June 25th email. It is under contract, but it has not yet been purchased. Visions Hotels also owns the Hampton Inn in East Aurora. Code Enforcement Officer Elizabeth Cassidy and Deputy Clerk Treasurer Sarah Hurd told members of the Historic Preservation Commission, or HPC, at a special meeting on June 24th that the village office had been contacted by Visions Hotels regarding tax information and zoning compliance letters on the 4 properties owned by the Douglas Development Corporation. Those properties also include the Roycroft Chapel and Pocket Park at the intersection of Main and South Grove Streets. Cassidy said that Visions Hotel had also inquired about information regarding the mansion on Delaware in the city of Buffalo, another Douglas Development Corporation property, which she was unable to provide. The Roycroft Inn, built in 1905 by Albert Hubbard and restored to its arts and crafts grandeur by the Wendt Foundation in 1995, regularly attracts visitors from around the world. In 1986, the entire Roycroft campus was granted National Historic Landmark status. Douglas Development Corporation made an offer on the property in May 2023, and the deal closed for just over $1 million 1 year later. In July 2025, Jamel's Roycroft LLC challenged the assessed value of the 4 properties by the town of Aurora. Under a settlement reached with the town in February, the assessed value of 4 Roycroft properties, including the Roycroft Inn and Chapel, was reduced from $1,135,300 to $210,000. The change lowered the property's 2024 tax bill from $9,549.60 to $1,766.42, a decrease of more than $7,000. The sale price will be public when the transaction is complete. HPC Chair Mary Ann Colopy reminded Commission members during the meeting that while the HPC does have some control in the exterior renovations of the property as a result of landmark status, there is no control over the interior of private properties. If they decide to grayify the interior of that building, there's nothing we can do to stop it, Colopy said. In July of 2024, an attempt to paint the exterior of the Roycroft Inn from its historic green to black and white was thwarted by a large group of concerned residents. Cassidy said she believes a village uproar would put a stop to any significant changes to the building. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Aurora Police Report: felony DWI charges in Aurora. A 46-year-old male was charged with multiple infractions following a reckless driving complaint on Wednesday, June 24th, including DWI. The report said that he showed signs of being intoxicated after he was pulled over on Hayes Hollow Road, but he refused to provide a breath sample, which is an automatic DWI charge. Because this is the second DWI in less than 10 years, it is a felony offense, and the driver was identified in the report as Jake Vareca. According to the report, reckless driving was reported at 9:30 p.m. The vehicle was traveling southbound onto Hayes Hollow Road from Falls Road, making an improper left turn and failing to use a designated lane. The vehicle was pulled over. The report says that Vareka had glassy eyes, slurred speech, and an odor of alcohol was emanating from his breath. He was unsteady on his feet. The report says that prior to the stop, Vareka said he had eaten at a restaurant in East Aurora and had consumed 2 alcoholic beverages. Multiple attempts were made to administer standard field sobriety tests. He refused. A 72-year-old male from East Aurora who reported the incident was contacted and stated that the subject had been drinking at a restaurant and he had been following him home when the subject's wife called 911, stating the subject was being followed. Vareka was also issued violations for failure to obey a police officer, making an improper left turn, failing to use a designated lane, and failing to yield right-of-way to an emergency vehicle. Vareka's license was suspended at the arraignment. Mental health transport. Multiple complaints of reckless operation of a vehicle were reported at 10 a.m. Saturday, June 27th on Olean Road near Chestnut Hill, and a traffic stop was initiated. According to the report, the 37-year-old male from Freedom was highly agitated and visibly sweating. The subject repeatedly stating delusions of grandeur and described a history of sexual abuse. An ambulance was requested to the scene for evaluation. The subject continued repeating irrational speech, and he displayed signs of paranoia during the encounter. He stated he did not wish to be evaluated and did not want to go to the hospital. He was restrained using soft restraints on the stretcher for his safety, as well as the safety of the medical responders, and he was transported to a local hospital. Petite larceny. A 22-year-old female from Orchard Park reported a larceny on Friday, June 5th. According to the report, the victim stated that she contacted her employer, a South Grove Street business, because she did not receive her direct deposit payment for the work week. Business officials stated that on February 18, an email was received stating that the victim's banking information had changed. The victim stated she had never changed her banking information, and it is unsure who could have sent the email. The victim has changed her banking information to be correct at work and has notified her bank of this activity. EMS. A 42-year-old male from East Aurora reported that a woman who had been walking in front of an Oakwood Avenue restaurant had tripped on the sidewalk and fallen at 4 p.m., Thursday, June 18th. According to the complaint, the 72-year-old female from Fillmore had sustained a laceration to her lip. The female was located in the dining room. The complainant stated she was walking westbound on the sidewalk when she tripped and fell down on her face. The female was observed to have a laceration on her upper lip. She also complained of pain to her right wrist and had an abrasion on her left knee. The patient was evaluated on scene and eventually transported to a local hospital for her injuries. Harassment. During the Heart of Music Festival, Excelsior security personnel advised patrol of a fight taking place at the Classic Rink on Riley Street at 10 p.m. Saturday, June 13th. According to the report, along with assistance from New York State Police, three 29-year-old male victims from Alden were located inside the rink. The victims all reported that while inside the rink area, one victim had punched a beach ball into the air, and after doing so, an unknown group of 2 to 3 males and one female began shoving and punching the three victims. During the altercation, one victim was reportedly punched in the face and shoved, a second was shoved, and a third was punched in the face, causing swelling to his left eye. All victims gave a description of the alleged perpetrators. 2 of the 3 victims were uninjured. The third victim was evaluated, and he signed off on medical treatment. The alleged perpetrators were unable to be located. Mental health transport. An unwanted guest refused to leave a bar on Main Street at 1 a.m. Saturday, June 20th. According to the report, the subject, who was a 27-year-old male from Cheektowaga, was asked to leave the bar multiple times by staff. The subject continued entering the bar, being disorderly and irritating other patrons and staff. The subject was alone at the bar and could not provide a sober party to care for him, as he was extremely intoxicated. He was placed on a mental health hold and transported to a local hospital. Leaving the scene. A single motor vehicle accident where the vehicle had fled the scene was reported in the area of Davis and Jewett-Homewood Road at 3 a.m. Sunday, June 21st. According to the report, a male complainant reported the accident after hearing a loud crash from outside his residence. When he went outside, he saw that a vehicle had gone off the road and was fleeing eastbound on Jewett-Homewood towards Davis Road. Upon arrival, a vehicle was located on Davis Road, approximately 200 feet north of the intersection with Jewett-Homewood Road. The vehicle had extensive front end and passenger side damage and appeared to be disabled. A fluid trail was observed from the vehicle south on Davis Road and west on Jewett-Homewood Road, where they discovered the scene of the accident, observing extensive damage to a metal driveway gate fence that controlled driveway access to the residence. A stop sign, a head warning sign, had also been struck. Contact was made with the driver of the vehicle, a 24-year-old female from Hamburg, who initially stated that she had been struck by another driver at the intersection. After being confronted with observations made at the accident scene and the fluid trail leading to her vehicle, the driver stated that she had zoned out or possibly fallen asleep and had not known what she had struck. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted with negative results. Contact was made with the owner of the residence where the property damage had occurred. The driver's insurance information was shared with the owner. When asked for the value of the fence/gate that had been damaged, the owner stated that he had built it himself many years ago and did not know the cost to replace it at the time. The Erie County Highway Department was notified of the downed sign. The driver was charged with leaving the scene of a property damage accident, changing lanes when hazard, moving from a lane unsafely, and failure to use a designated lane. She was later provided transport home by the registered owner of the vehicle. The vehicle was towed from the scene. Hit and run. A 26-year-old female from East Aurora reported a hit and run in the parking lot of a Gray Street business at 3 p.m. Tuesday, June 23rd. According to the report, the complainant stated that between 6 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., she had parked her vehicle in the plaza parking lot while she was working her shift. She drove home and noticed damage to her vehicle's passenger side front fender. The complainant advised her supervisor and stated they would look at the outdoor security camera footage to see if there was a recording of the incident. She was advised to contact police if any footage was found, revealing a subject's vehicle or registration. Unlicensed driver. A 30-year-old male from Sardinia was charged with aggravated, unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle in the third degree following a traffic stop that occurred on Olean Road at 1 a.m. Sunday, June 28th. According to the report, a vehicle traveling on Main Street was observed activating its turn signal approximately 50 feet prior to turning southbound on Olean Street. A traffic stop was conducted on Olean Road at Hilliker Court. The subject was contacted and identified by his New York State identification card. A DMV inquiry revealed the subject's license to be revoked in August 2015 for driving while ability impaired by drugs and alcohol out of the town of Franklinville. The subject was advised that his license was revoked, to which he responded he was aware. The subject was processed roadside and a third party arrived on scene, operating the vehicle off the scene. Erie County Sheriff's Report. Trespassing charges in Wales. Erie County Sheriff's deputies responded on June 21st to a residence on East Creek Road in Wales. While the Wales Center Fire Department was investigating an alarm at the residence, a person not affiliated with the fire department entered the home and proceeded into the basement. The person in question was charged with second-degree criminal trespass. In other area calls handled by the Erie County Sheriff's Department out of Clarence and Elma Substation, June 20th, a vehicle was making a left turn from Bullis Road onto Bowen in Elma when it hit a vehicle that was stopped at the red light. The driver was transported to the hospital by Elma Fire. A vehicle was rear-ended at a red light at the intersection between Clinton Street and Transit Road in Elma. June 21st, no other incidents were reported on this date. June 22nd, a vehicle attempting to turn left out of a parking lot onto Transit Road in Elma struck a southbound vehicle. Both vehicles were damaged and the driver of the southbound vehicle was evaluated on the scene. Suspicious individuals were reported outside of a South Main Street business in Holland. The people in question were determined to be employees of the business. June 23rd, after conducting a traffic stop at the intersection between Olean and Blanchard Roads in Holland, a man was charged with second-degree aggravated unlicensed operation. June 24th, no incidents were reported on this date. June 25th, a courtesy ride was provided for an intoxicated hitchhiker for his safety at the intersection between Genesee Street and Peters Corners Road in Alden. After a traffic stop conducted at the intersection between Route 400 and Jameson Road in Elma, A woman was charged with second-degree aggravated unlicensed operation. A motor vehicle operator fell asleep at the wheel and went off the road on Seneca Street in Elma. And a vehicle hit another vehicle while it was stopped near a construction zone on Olean Road in Wales. One driver was transported to the hospital by ambulance, as was the other driver. June 26th, a vehicle turning out of a parking lot at the intersection between Clinton Street and Transit Road in Elma hit a driving vehicle. Both vehicles sustained damage but were each drivable. A motorcycle turning out of a parking lot onto Transit Road in Elma failed to yield the right-of-way and was struck by a vehicle. The motorcyclist was transported to ECMC with an ankle injury. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Bash for Mercy flight tickets on sale. Tickets are now on sale for the 2026 Bash for Mercy flight, an annual fundraiser that will coincide with the 45th anniversary of the nonprofit emergency medical transport provider. The event is scheduled for Saturday, September 19th at Buffalo River Works, marking 45 years to the day since Mercy Flight was founded on September 19, 1981. Held from 7 to 11 p.m., the event will feature live entertainment by Nerds Gone Wild, music from DJ Milk, food and beverages, raffles, and a fireworks display. Proceeds will support Mercy Flight's air and ground medical transportation services throughout Western New York. General admissions tickets are $15 and include event admission, parking, entertainment, and access to raffles and the silent auction. Food and beverages will be available for purchase. A limited number of VIP tickets are available for $45. VIP admission includes access to a private lounge, premium stage viewing area, private bar, one complimentary drink, a 2-hour buffet, private restrooms, parking, and additional amenities. Sponsorship opportunities are also available, with packages beginning at $500. Founded in 1981, Mercy Flight is an independent nonprofit organization providing emergency air and ground medical transportation throughout Western New York. The organization operates helicopter bases in Buffalo, Olean, Springville, and Batavia, while its ground ambulance division serves Genesee, Niagara, and Oleans counties. The town of Hamlin, the town of Concord, and the village of Springville, and the Finger Lakes region. Tickets and additional information are available at Mercy Flight's website. Happy Birthday, America! From the Deep End. America turns 250 this 4th of July. That's a pretty impressive birthday. You would think I would be planning something spectacular to mark the occasion, but if I'm being honest, my plans are exactly the same as they have been for years. I want to float in the pool, eat a Salem's hot dog fresh off Jonathan's grill, enjoy a little potato salad that I thoughtfully prepared the day before, and finish the evening watching fireworks at Iroquois. There is just one small problem. My pool is green. Not it needs a little chlorine green. Not maybe it'll clear up tomorrow green. I'm talking there could be a family of frogs discussing real estate opportunities and squatters' rights green. I'm talking don't go even though the water is warm because you might get hepatitis green. The water isn't green because we've neglected it. It's green because the pool pump hasn't been running. The electrical system powering the pump needs repair, and until our electrician works his magic, the pool is just another expensive and ugly lawn ornament. He was supposed to come last week, but of course Western New York happened. Heavy rain and strong winds delayed his schedule, which pushed us into this week's calendar, assuming, of course, that this week's weather cooperates. Knock on the deck wood we are refinishing because the electric issue isn't a big enough project on its own. Around Western New York, weather permitting isn't just something you hear before baseball games. It's practically a regional motto. So now I'm checking forecasts every morning to see if the electrician can come and to see whether we'll even need the pool on July 4th. If Mother Nature sticks with the current forecast, we'll be watching lightning instead of fireworks. Honestly, I like both. It's amazing how much of our 4th of July depends on things completely outside our control. The weather, the pool, whether Jonathan can actually sit still for more than 30 minutes. That last one may be the biggest long shot of all. Anyone who knows my husband knows relaxing isn't one of his stronger skills. If he's awake, he's fixing something, building something, or planning his next project, even if the last one isn't done yet. But every 4th of July, something changes. He lights the grill, eventually wanders into the pool with a plastic glass of rum and coke, and for a few glorious hours, the project list disappears. Apparently, the only 4th of July I remember differently was America's bicentennial in 1976. I was only 7 years old, but I remember thinking it was a much bigger deal than a typical 4th of July. I marched in a parade wearing a Little House on the Prairie inspired dress, complete with Laura Ingalls braids tucked under a bonnet my mother handmade. I loved that bonnet so much I wore it for the rest of the summer, much to my mother's amusement. It's funny the things we remember. But on a typical July 4th, ever since my parents installed the pool the summer before I went into 8th grade, somewhere between lunch and the fireworks, everyone ends up in the water. It's become one of those family traditions that no one ever planned, but everyone expects, which is why this year's green water has become a big deal. I've talked to several people recently about their plans for America's 250th birthday. Most gave me the same answer, oh, nothing special. The more I thought about it, the more I realized it's probably because the things we do every 4th of July are already pretty special. Families gather, the grill gets fired up, someone inevitably burns the hot dogs and spills the ketchup. Kids stay up far later than they should. It's not an elaborate celebration, it's simply summer. So this year, while historians reflect on 250 years of American independence, I'll be cheering for something much less ambitious. An electrician, a functioning pool pump, clear blue water, and just enough sunshine for Jonathan to spend an afternoon floating instead of fixing. Happy 250th birthday, America. If everything goes according to plan, I'll be celebrating from the deep end. Jane Sullivan, the writer of this article, is the East Aurora Advertiser lifestyle editor and a resident of Elma. She welcomes your questions or comments about this column and can be reached at copyadvertiser@gmail.com. Shakir Family Pet Adoption Event expands to Knox Farm, launches new rescue initiative. The third annual Shakir Family Pet Adoption Event will move to a larger venue this year, with organizers announcing the event will take place Saturday, August 29th at Knox Farm State Park. Hosted by Buffalo football standout Khalil Shakir and the Shakir Family Foundation, the event supports local animal rescue organizations while promoting pet adoption throughout Western New York. Organizers said the move to the stables at Knox Farm State Park will allow for additional rescue groups, vendors, entertainment, and family-friendly activities. The event was inspired by the Shakir family's own adoption experience. Their dog, Missy, was adopted through Nickel City Canine Rescue, one of several rescue organizations expected to participate in this year's event. Attendees will have the opportunity to meet adoptable pets, shop with local vendors, enjoy family activities, take photos, and meet special guests. Additional details, including participating rescue organizations and guest appearances, are expected to be announced in the coming week. This year's event will also serve as the launch of 10 Yards to Home, a new community-driven initiative created through the Shakir Family Foundation to benefit local animal rescues. Inspired by football terminology and Shakir's commitment to animal welfare, the campaign encourages donations, volunteer efforts, and community participation. Organizers describe each contribution as yards gained towards helping rescue animals find permanent homes. The initiative is being supported by Salino Plumbing, HVAC and Electric, and other local business partners. Proceeds from the event will benefit both the Shakir Family Foundation and participating rescue organizations. Individuals interested in participating in the 10 Yards to Home campaign as a vendor, sponsor, or rescue organization can contact Felicia Gracia at felicia@brookmanmedia.com. The Shakir Family Foundation supports charitable initiatives, community partnerships, and programs benefiting local animals and animal rescue organizations throughout Western New York. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the East Aurora Advertiser on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The Soul Street Band to open Backyard Bash concert series. The 5-member band Soul Street will kick off the 2026 Backyard Bash Summer Concert Series at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, July 9th, bringing a blend of classic rock, blues, R&B, and contemporary hits to East Aurora. For lead vocalist Angelia Ziegler, one of the band's defining characteristics is its versatility. "We always say we do a little bit of everything," Ziegler said. "Everything from the Beatles to Adele." The Soul Street Band has been performing together for about 4 years. While this will be the band's first appearance at Backyard Bash, its members are no strangers to the Western New York music scene. The band performs regularly at venues throughout western New York, including the River Grill, the Griffin Gastropub in Lewiston, Wilson Boathouse Restaurant, and Penny Lane Cafe in Clarence. The group recently added Central Park Grill to its performance schedule as well. The group was formed by musicians who met through various projects over the years. Bass player George Heidelman helped bring the band together. This band is kind of his dream, Ziegler said. He wanted a group of people who truly want to make music and appreciate the time and effort that goes into making it good. Joining Ziegler and Heidelman are drummer Shannon Street, guitarist Ron Locurdo, and keyboard player Pat Georger. For Ziegler, the appeal of live performance comes from the connection with audiences. The reaction from the crowd is one of my favorite things, she said. Every show has a different vibe. You never know what you're going to get, but it's always good. The band's name emerged from a collaborative brainstorming session during one of its rehearsal meetings. While members debated different possibilities, everyone agreed that the word soul captured the spirit of the group. It's not that we're a soul music band, Ziegler explained. There's just a lot of heart and soul that goes into everything we do. Even when we're playing cover songs, we try to add our own soulful twist and make them our own. More information about the band, including performance dates, videos, and photos, can be found on its website at thesoulstreetband.com and on the band's Facebook page. The Backyard Bash takes place in the parking lot behind Vidler's 5 and 10 on Main Street. Pizza del Arroyo's will be on hand selling slices of pizza during the event. Schoolhouse Concert Series returns with shows by Hall of Famers. After a year's sabbatical, the Schoolhouse Gallery Concert Series is back. Ben and Karen Little, owners of the Schoolhouse Gallery at 1054 Olean Road, present the 6th annual Happy Hour benefit with two music shows this summer on the stage behind the gallery and woodshop. The first concert on Friday, July 17, features Greater East Aurora Music Hall of Fame inductee Rob Montone with special guests. Anyone who's been around the area very long knows that Montone is the consummate professional, offering beautiful guitar work and soaring pristine harmonies with singer Jordan Rose, Becca Kosert, Justin Kosert will add his guitar and vocals. John Sundquist will play bass with Karsten Ziegler on drums. On August 21st, another Hall of Famer, Brad Felton, will bring his friends together for an evening of eclectic tunes that will range from rock and roll to folk to country to ballads. On hand with Felton at the pedal steel guitar will be a host of vocalists and multi-instrumentalists like Bob Sorida, Joe Ernst, Katie Felton, Rochelle Francis, John Whitney, Renee Selkirk, Dan Garvey, and Owen O'Sullivanabian. The fun starts at 5:30 p.m. Bring lawn chairs and happy hour supplies. There's a $20 suggested donation, with the musicians donating their time and talents. Proceeds from Montone's show go to the Boys and Girls Club of East Aurora. Proceeds from the Brad Felton Show will go to Fish of East Aurora. In case of rain, the shows will move indoors at the Rural Outreach Center. Parking is limited, so the Littles suggest carpooling. Be sure to stay to the end, when Ben Little will offer a few words of encouragement and play taps on his trumpet. Imagine EA to launch in Village. The Village of East Aurora and the Greater Aurora Development Corporation, GADC, recently announced the launch of Imagine EA, a new community investment initiative designed to identify transformational projects and investment opportunities that will help shape the future of Main Street and the village's commercial core, while positioning East Aurora for future state investment opportunities, including New York State's Downtown Revitalization Initiative, or DRI, and NY Forward programs. Through the DRI, New York State awards up to $10 million to select communities to implement transformative public and private projects, while the New York Forward program provides significant funding for smaller communities pursuing similar revitalization goals. Mayor Luke Wojcinski announced that the village is seeking input from businesses, property owners, nonprofit organizations, institutions, developers, and community partners with projects that could strengthen Main Street, surrounding commercial areas, and the village's long-term economic viability. East Aurora is already one of New York's premier villages, Wojcinski said. Now we're asking our community partners to help define what comes next. We know there are outstanding ideas throughout our community, and we want to hear them. The village and GADC are inviting submissions for transformational projects and investment opportunities of all sizes. Some may involve public improvements, while others may be privately led initiatives or public-private partnerships. Potential projects could include the rehabilitation or adaptive reuse of historic and commercial buildings, redevelopment of underutilized properties, business expansion, tourism, and cultural attractions. Improvements to public spaces, streetscapes, parks and trails, accessibility and transportation enhancement, infrastructure improvements, public art and beautification initiatives, or other investments that strengthen East Aurora's commercial core. Organizations do not need to have financing in place or completed plans to participate. The effort builds upon several initiatives already underway, including the village's comprehensive plan update, the Blue Zones Walkability Assessment, economic development initiatives, and ongoing investments in public infrastructure. Representatives from several New York State agencies, including Empire State Development, the Department of State, and Homes and Community Renewal, are scheduled to visit East Aurora in July to tour potential revitalization projects and discuss future funding opportunities with village officials. The village hopes to present a broad portfolio of community-supported projects and investment opportunities that demonstrate East Aurora's vision and readiness for significant state investment. This is an opportunity for our community to think boldly about the future of East Aurora. Trustee Ryan Camp said, "Many organizations and businesses have projects or investment opportunities they have been considering for years. We want to know about them. The stronger the portfolio of projects we assemble, the more competitive East Aurora will be for future state investment. The Greater East Aurora Development Corporation exists to help move great ideas from concept to reality by bringing together public and private partners. GADC President Eric Carlson said, "Imagine EA provides an opportunity to identify transformational projects that can strengthen our commercial core, support local businesses, and position East Aurora for long-term success. We encourage every business, nonprofit organization, institution, developer, and property owner with a vision for the future to participate. Businesses, nonprofit organizations, institutions, property owners, developers, and community organizations with transformational projects or investment opportunities are encouraged to submit a brief description of their proposal to mayor@eastaurora.gov by July 8th to be included on the potential tour. Submissions should include the project's location, current status, estimated investment if known, and a brief explanation of how it would strengthen East Aurora's commercial core. Projects submitted through Imagine East Aurora may become part of the village's DRI or NY Forward application, and if East Aurora is selected by New York State, could become eligible for millions of dollars in public investment. Additional information about Imagine EA and future opportunities for participation will be announced in the coming weeks as the village and GADC continue developing a community-driven vision for East Aurora's future. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the July 2nd issue of the East Aurora Advertiser. We read from the East Aurora Advertiser every Saturday at 10 a.m. Your reader has been Janice. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of the Niagara Gazette. At noon, we have the Dunkirk Observer. And at 1 o'clock, we have some of our Northtown Bees, including Amherst, Clarence, Cheektowaga, Lancaster, and Depew. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. As of this year, our agency has broadcast more than 300,000 hours of radio readings. Volunteer radio readers read newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. Radio Reading's broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading broadcasts from studios at 1199 Harlem Road in suburban Buffalo. Please let others know about Radio Reading. It's your service. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability